real quick, I got a special announcement for you guys. Right now, we're running a special promotion over on poodlecfb.com. If you use code WINTER with a capital W, you will receive 40% off the annual deal, which basically locks you in from now and the majority of CFB 26. It's one of the fastest growing communities, so you definitely want to get in now so you'll be locked in for next year. And if you want to stick to the monthly plan, we're running 20% off on the monthly if you use code WINTER2025 with a capital W. So make sure to check it out. The codes and links will be down below in the description and in the comments. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 25 video, and in today's video we're going to be going over everything you need to know about pipelines. Now, before we get into the video, guys, if you haven't already, check out poodlecfb.com. Use code WINTER with a capital W to get $40 off the annual plan, and use code WINTER with capital W 2025 to get 20% off the monthly. You sign up now. Remember, this is a lifetime recurring discount, so if you sign up now, we're almost CFB 26. People don't realize it. It's right around the corner. You lock in this discount now, you'll be set up for the entire year next year ahead of everyone else. And that first week, we're going absolutely crazy, guys. We're gonna have everything cracked, every tip, every advantage. And remember, a lot of these year-long leagues, they start right in July, start right in late June, whenever the game ends up dropping, right? So you're gonna be able to dominate and build your foundation earlier than everyone else, and you really don't want to miss out on that. So make sure you do check it out, guys. All of our new spreadsheets, all of our new features, everything's up on there. We are still making updates all the way down to the wire, basically, as the next game comes out. Then we'll refresh and we'll get all the new stuff in. But make sure you check it out. You won't want to miss it. Come join the fastest growing CFP community out there. Let's get into it. As you guys know, I like to make this video with gems. I've made it with recruiting. It's time to make it with pipelines. We learned a lot of new stuff over on poodlecfb.com as of late about pipelines. Now, I want to just reiterate this for all you guys. I still can be anti-pipeline, but I've learned where they make a little bit of sense or where they actually benefit you. And we kind of known this, but it has opened my eyes to a few other things. So I do want to go through it so you guys can understand it. I feel like pipelines has been a thing that a lot of people haven't really understood all year. So let's go through it. I'm using Bama as a reference, and you'll understand why shortly. Don't tell me he's using a good team. You'll understand shortly. When you look at your prospect list, Bama is on a lot of boards. First on a lot of boards, just in general. Now, why? This is because they're a 5-star program. You could have another 5-star program that isn't on as many boards as Bama. Look on the right. The common denominator really is the pipeline. So the thing about pipelines is they are big for one thing, in my opinion. Really. I mean, there's some other stuff there, but really it's about the starting interest. And we've known this. I've been saying this all year. Pipeline's big for starting interest. That's where it matters. It doesn't help you win the war, right? It helps you win the battle, right? Week 0 preseason. It helps you get on their boards, but it doesn't help you recruit. So having elite pipelines and getting you first in every board, but then you have 50 hours to recruit, you're still going to lose. But we have learned where this actually helps. And let's start with, I'm going to start with the big programs, and we're going to work our way down. How does it benefit a big program? And when we're talking about pipelines, by the way, and how to upgrade them, we're talking about the latest coach build that I just dropped. If you haven't seen it, going over, I made a video on it about last week called the greatest coach build in CFP 25. Also on poodlecfb.com, we have all the best coach builds laid out, so make sure you check that out. In our coach build, we're talking about program builder. So we recently made a few amendments to get program builder. What we did was we took off tier 4 on all of these because we learned that the starting interest is actually way more beneficial from pipeline. We thought we could get away with just doing it the tier 4. You can't. Pipeline is the biggest indicative thing for starting interest in the game, the most impactful thing. So what you want to do is you want to be using program builder with a mix of relationship builder and strong roots. Again, go check out that video. You'll see the combination you want to do, but this gets all your pipelines up. Now, where does this matter? How does this benefit you? We're going to start with 4-star and up programs and 3-star and down. The beauty of pipelines is that the starting interest, while it may not win you the battle, if you tie it in with our coach build, that's where it all comes together. If you tie it in with our coach build, you have all the elite recruiting packages. You have all the coordinator stacks. If you win every recruiting battle, right, basically, imagine what you could do if you started off as 1st or 3rd in every board. Because as you know, with our coach build previously, or just in general, we were bullying people. We were starting off with no interest, right? We were starting off like here with the dash off the board, and we were bullying our way to the top and just squeezing out these wins. We were bullying from the 7th spot, from the 9th spot. But there are a few times you can come insta locked out of players, and this is the one thing that our coach builder, our recruiting packages can't save you from. You can become insta locked out of players, or what could happen is you could start off the board right like this, and that first week you get locked out after advance, or that first week you put 80 hours on, but it's not enough to get you into the top 7 because a lot of people are recruiting them. So you need like 2 or 3 weeks. So I've had a lot of situations like this, and this is where I realized the power of this. And again, shout out to some guys in the league who went over all the pipeline studies, Cape, Go Texans, and everyone else who did contribute to those studies. What we learned is that, yes, you can bully your way from being off someone's board, right? You could be completely off their board and bully your way back in. And let's add this guy to the board so you see what I'm talking about. See, you're off the board. But the problem is, if there's 7 users all recruiting, it could take you more than 1 to 2 weeks to get on the top 5, and then you could bully your way up. Now, I've had situations with a quarterback, 5-star gem, one of the best quarterback prospects I've ever seen. I was off the board, but I knew I could beat out those other guys because I knew using the spreadsheet, I knew exactly what coordinators they had in year 1 and 2. So I was like, okay, they don't have elite recruiter. I just need to get on that board. Thankfully, I didn't get locked out, so I made my way up. But other guys, I've seen where, and I won that guy, by the way. So now I know that I can come off boards and win, but the problem is sometimes by week 2, I get locked out. So the beauty of getting the pipeline, the program builder, the strong roots relationship builder, is that you'll upgrade all your pipelines. Now, I see it as less beneficial with 5-star programs that start that way, because Bama comes with really elite pipelines, but that doesn't mean you can't upgrade some. Like, see this 3-star pipeline in Texas? You can get that up to a 4 or 5, right? See this one in the Louisiana or the LA? I'm blanking here. Either way. Oh, I guess it would be CA. This one right here, that was dumb. Ignore that. This one can get up to a 4 or 5, which means that instead of being a second on their board, maybe you're a 1, right? And so on and so forth as we go down on their pipelines. That is the beauty of this, of how you can get all their pipelines up. Now, for me, 5-star programs are pretty stacked, so you don't have to overly focus on it, but it makes you even better. It makes your board even better. And what that stops also is the insta lockouts. Now, why is this beneficial, and why is that so important for a smaller tier team? In my other league, I'm building up Syracuse. Syracuse does not have a bunch of 5s or 4s or 3s. They have like a 3, a 2, and a bunch of nuns, right? So now, what I've learned is I can bring Syracuse up to a 5-star. I can get the 1250 preseason hours. I can get the 80 recruiting hours. But when we restarted to the next season, or we got through the offseason and we went to the new class, I was locked out of like 15 5-stars. Why? I'm a high tier program now. Shouldn't I be on more? No, because I don't have the pipeline to get me on some of their boards. Now, usually I'd be like, that's fine. I don't need the starting interest. I'll just bully my way up. I have elite recruiter almost maxed out. I have my coordinators with elite recruiter. But I'm locked out right off rip. So what we learned was, again, it works for big programs, but for schools 1 through 3, one of the biggest aspects of Dynasty, for all you guys who start out there with like Marshall or you know, JUCO type schools and just like really bad schools that are 1-star schools, Army, Navy, the beauty of Dynasty is that you're playing this game a lot of the times not to play with Bama or Michigan. You're playing to get these guys up to the tiers of Bama and Michigan, make them a blue chip program. So program builder and upgrading your pipelines actually can be the key to doing so, because when you bring a Syracuse team up from a 3-star to a 5-star, or Navy from a 1-star to a 5-star, their pipelines don't upgrade. So you're going to have a team that's right there with Bama, overall wise and everything, but your pipelines are going to be 0s, 1s, 2s, maybe 1-5 if you're lucky, not always. And again, if you look at one of those pipeline spreadsheets we have, you can see the schools that desperately need upgrading. So sometimes the hack is to actually pick a school like Stanford, who has a top 15 rating on pipeline rating, but then you can build them up and you don't have to go for program builder, although it's still beneficial. But if you pick a school that's like in the bottom 30 for pipelines and you try to build them up, they're always going to be bad at pipelines, which means they're never going to have that elite starting interest. And this is the most beneficial thing for starting interest. So when you're building your program up, imagine it's like the foundation. Let's look at it like a house with pipelines. For a bad team, when you're a 1 to 3-star school, let's say you're a house and all you did was work on the interior, exterior, right? You made it look really good. It's a 5-star program. It has the hours, but the foundation's weak. That's essentially what not having good pipelines is. Your foundation, the roots of your program are weak. So even though you look like a 5-star, it's a pretty program, you're up there, you're never going to have those starting interests of other teams, which makes it a lot harder to use our method of just spam offering 5-stars. Because let's say you only get 15 on the board and only like 6 of them actually want to go to you. That's only 6 you can get. When you get all 35 on the board and you get better starting interest, it's like, okay, so you're going to lose about half of them right off rip from just being locked out and whatnot. But you get 35 swings at the bat versus only 15. And those 15 may not even really want to be on your board. All across the entire thing, it is so important for a 1 through 3-star school. But don't forget, for 4 or 5 stars, it's very important too. Because look at Bama. When you look at it already, how it is stock. If you can get the bonuses, imagine you just see 5-star galore. You're gonna see all these guys here, all of them. Not just like these guys that go from nothing to bring you up. The 3s can go to 4s or 5s. The 2s can go to 3s or 4s. You're gonna see how good your program becomes. And Bama's gonna have so many first options. What does this also help with? Insta commits. That's cool too. If you have dream school or you just want insta commits, getting that up to it gets you on more 1 spots for a lot of players. And the beauty is if you follow the coach build and you get elite recruiter and you get elite recruiter coordinators and you're dominating and bullying people, you can bully from the bottom. Let's say these are all the bars, right? These are all the bars and everyone you're going against is over here. They're here, you're here. You have to slowly work your way to jump them. And you do, because you have 80 hours, you have all the bonuses. Imagine if you started in 1 to 3 for everyone. So everyone's here, you're just going to completely outpace them very quickly. And that's the beauty of the pipeline. Again, it's not the end all be all. You can still bully people without it. The coach build, the recruiting hours, the coordinators, all that matters more. I always say it, the pipeline isn't your recruiting prowess, it's your starting point. But think about it this way, if you're the fastest guy in the world and you get a head start, you're going to win. If you have a slightly below head start, you're still probably going to win. If you have a huge, you give someone a huge head start, you could still lose, but it becomes a lot less likely, right? That is the beauty of this. You're going to get a head start, and you're going to have the 80 hours, and you're going to have the elite recruiter bonuses and everything else. That is the beauty of the pipeline. I think it was overstated all year, like you can only recruit from your pipeline. That's not the case, but it does make life a bit easier, and that is the beauty of our coach build. You have to sacrifice a little architect or tier 4, but there's ways around it. Go check out that coach build video, and you'll understand all of it, and that's basically what pipelines do. When building a coach, make sure when you build your custom coach and you choose your pipeline, make sure you choose a pipeline that you actually want to build up, because you're going to be setting points to build it. So don't just randomly pick like Arkansas and I'll do that later. You can't. Think it through, pick the right pipeline, keep some of the factors in mind when doing so, and make sure that you make pipeline a part of your game for your starting point, and then forget about it. Because after that, there were some studies in the chat that showed that it does increase interest and some other things. But for me, what I'm going to focus on, like the actual full-blown, what I care about is going to be that starting point. And what our studies showed was that starting point for tier 4 recruiter barely worked and was completely outdone by the pipeline. And that's more important, because we're trying to be the best recruiters we can be. We were trying to max out our points to max this out, and we had tier 4 in here. That was 35 points to get tier 4. Now we've learned we can just take those 35 points off, get program builder, take some architect off, and get a way better starting point plus our bonuses. But guys, that's about it. That basically wraps up pipelines. I do hope in CFP 26 they make some amendments. I want pipelines to be better. I think pipelines could be a bigger part of the game. I want players to have strict, like, if I'm not a part of your pipeline, I'm not going there, like hometown discount type stuff, or dream school. I always wanted to go to LSU, and you're not even on one of my pipelines, so only if you're in pipeline you can compete for that guy. I want there to be more things like that, because in real life that's a thing. Now there's NIL. Maybe you can override it with a package called NIL, where you can offer enough to get above people, but I think there's more work to be done with pipelines, but that's basically how it works, and it won't be changing much here on out. So that pretty much will be the law of the land for pipelines for you. Thank you guys for watching. Check out poodlecfb.com to get all these studies and all these spreadsheets. Code WINTER with a capital W gets you $40 off the annual plan. Code WINTER2025 capital W gets you 20% off the monthly. Lock yourself in now. Thank you guys for watching. Come join the fastest growing CFB community. I'm out. Peace.